Thanks for joining us today. And just a few reminders as everyone's still coming in. If you haven't already done so, if you can make sure your name is updated and correct, as well as your affiliation. We do try to track attendance for vendors and as well as for states to know who's participating with us. So if you wouldn't mind updating that, we would appreciate it. And then also just a reminder, these meetings are recorded and they can be found on our website under our YouTube channel. And please feel free to share if you think there's information shared that a colleague or coworker would find helpful. We would encourage you to share those or revisit as needed as well. And we do encourage your participation. So you're encouraged to come off of mute and use the chat feature as well. If you have questions, jump in and ask questions as we're going. And there also will be an open forum at the end. If you have a topic or a question you'd like to ask that's unrelated to a topic on our agenda, you can save it and ask it at open forum at the end. Let's get started today with, I'll just scroll down for a moment and give you a glimpse of our agenda, but I'm going to start today with some stakeholder introductions. And let me say as well, too, if you have not been introduced on this call yet, I will share a link in chat at the end today, and we would love to introduce you. There's just a short form you can fill out, and then the week before the call, I will reach out and ask I'll ask for some pictures if you are interested in sharing some pictures. So we are almost through everyone who filled out the form previously. So I'd love to have some more people do that so we can introduce you on the call. And the purpose of this really is just to learn something new about the other stakeholders on the call so that you can build points of connection. We hope that will lead to collaboration and working together, and also chance to get to know each other and have a little fun on the beginning of our call. So the person we're introducing today, if you think you know who this is as I'm explaining it, you're welcome to put a name in chat. This person enjoys hiking national and state parks and also enjoys ancient coin collecting. And something interesting about them is that they did hike the Grand Canyon from rim to rim this year, which is a very impressive accomplishment. When asked what they like most about their job, they said they like seeing NEMSIS data used to describe, inform, and identify best practices in out-of-hospital patient care. Anyone have a guess who we're talking about? This is our very own Clay Mann, and he shared some great pictures here. You can see that Clay does love adventuring and enjoying all that Utah has to offer here. So thanks for sharing those pictures, Clay. And then I wanted to give a quick update and congratulations to New Jersey, who turned green on our version 3.5 map this week. We're very excited for them. I know there's several states that are working on resources and getting close to submitting data as well. So we hope to see several more turn green soon. And just a reminder to check state pages for the most current timelines, transition timelines. We will be sending another survey, I believe, in April. So that'll be coming soon. But for now, the best place to check is on those state pages. And then, as I mentioned already, if you'd like to be introduced, I'll be putting a link in the chat in just a moment. But I am going to pass it off to Jen next. And Jen, I know, is going to give us a maintenance update today.
Good morning. Yes. So maintenance for this month is scheduled for March 21st and 22nd. If you experience any issues or anything during that time frame, and then you come back on the 23rd and you're still having it, please open up an IT help desk ticket, a NEMSIS help desk ticket through our help desk site so that we can look into any issues that you may be having. And then, as always, if you ever have questions about the maintenance update schedule, it is available on the nemsis.org website. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Lauri. That's always such a short and sweet item.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jen. And next on our agenda today is Clay Mann, and he's going to talk about version 3.4 custom elements for the ACS trauma triage guidelines. Do you need to share anything, Clay?
I don't think so. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Hey, welcome everyone. It's great to have you all on the call again today. And good morning from Austin, Texas. I'm here with Josh Legler and some great vendor folks here at the IHE North American Connect-a-thon. Hopefully in a couple of minutes, we'll have Josh come on and kind of tell you what's happening here. It's exciting. We've got some vendor folks here that are working with folks such as Epic to improve some connectability. So incredibly exciting. But did want to take a moment to talk about the critical patch. So we've made some great progress in regards to preparing for the critical patch. We can announce that the critical patch will be released in May. To give you a rough time frame as to when all the material associated with the critical patch will be released. As part of that, we're preparing what we're calling national custom elements. We've talked about that. Those should be available next week, right? So we're making great progress on those as well. That work is actually done. All we're waiting to kind of accomplish is updating some errors actually that exist in the national Schematron files. So there's a number of issues associated with those as well that we're just finalizing right now. So be prepared to find some material being released either through the Google group or on this call over the next couple of weeks. I'm just ensuring you have everything that you need to keep you on track and understanding what will be included in that critical patch. So kind of to sum, we'll be able to talk about the changes to the national Schematron file, the national custom elements for E-Injury 03 and E-Injury 04 will be released in about a week. So you'll know exactly what the critical patch will look like, right? Exactly what those elements will look like. So I'll just pause there and see if there's any questions about the release of that material.
This is Karen. I just have a quick question. Whether it's done now or maybe via the Google group, but what are the updates to the current V35, at least I'm assuming it's 3.5 national Schematron errors that are being corrected?
Yeah, great question, Karen. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Josh? Do you have a minute? I'm just looking across the hallway at him.
Yeah, and I'll try to do this off the top of my head because I don't have the details right in front of me. There was a rule that has to do with reason for refusal or release, and that rule is intended to say that when a patient refuses or is released, then that reason for refusal or release should be filled out, and it should be filled out with a choice other than a not released or something like that. I'm trying to remember what there was kind of a none option in that element. The Schematron rule is not considering that option. So it's going to be fixed to do that, so that the rule actually behaves the way the message says it should. The other one, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Oh boy, does anyone remember from the NEMSIS TAC? It was another one like that, just a code that was incorrect.
Yeah, I can, if you want me to
which rule.
If you want me to jump
Go for
on that. So it was a rule correction for the E187. I'm not sure what that refers to. And then the other one was a bug in Schematron for, see, I'm looking at these references and they just don't give a lot of detail.
Can you show that Excel spreadsheet, Julianne? You can probably just show that real quickly if you could, just to give Karen and others a visual.
And I'm trying to see if I can quickly get to it here.
So these are let's go, I'll go directly to these two if I can. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. How about we move on? I'm going to pull these up and then Karen will be able to tell you the two bugs that are being
yeah, we can cover it. Open discussion. That'd be great. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, great. And then the only other topic I have, I'm sorry, other questions regarding the critical patch. Thank you, Karin.
Also, I knew it was you, Clay. Granted, that's not fair of me, but I knew.
Yeah. You know me way too well.
Exactly.
All right, if there's no other questions, feel free to post any questions you have just on the NEMSIS website. Happy to help you with those. We'll provide you with as much information as we can as we finalize it. So we're excited to get that out. The other topic I just wanted to bring up is we're beginning to kind of put together the agenda for the upcoming V3 implementation meeting in Park City. And I will have an announcement, I think, by Monet later on about just ensuring that you're aware of that and being prepared for that. We're close to having a letter ready to go out so that states can send those to their folks that plan travel within their states to ensure that they have proof that this is going to be an important and valuable meeting. But as we put together the agenda, we were hoping that we could at least bring the question to bear here. And if you don't have an immediate answer and want to think about it a little bit, feel free to do that and then reach out to us. We'd love to know from you what you thought would be important agenda items to discuss on during the meeting. We've reviewed in great detail the comments that you provided at the end of that meeting. Clearly the topics like, hey, you guys, we need more time on topics. We need more in-depth information regarding attributes of NEMSIS that may be unfamiliar to folks who are working with NEMSIS for just a short period of time, right? A better understanding of Schematron, validation rules, how those work, custom elements. So we're working to bolster those topics, but did want to, so Felicia wants to make sure that we have additional scavenger hunts. That was fun. That was fun last year. Are there any other topics that folks can just think of off the top of their head that they'd like us to consider for presentation at the annual meeting? Anne says agreement or plan for data exchange between trauma registries. Okay, and EPCR with the UUID. That's a great topic to cover again. That's a really good topic. Thank you, Anne. Can anybody, we'll begin to frame up the minor release that will happen in 2024. So we'll spend some time formalizing what is considered and will be included in a minor release. And we'll go through some of the requests for changes that we would consider minor. We'll go through those pieces. That will be valuable to have folks there to discuss those. Any other, I don't know, parts or attributes of NEMSIS that need cleaning up, need polishing, that you can think of as a vendor or as a state that we could work on? Rob says presentation on how data is provided to researchers, especially when sorting out real patients. Thank you, Rob. Very helpful.
We can go the other way.
Custom element limits. Yeah, good. Yeah, we continue to try to improve the custom element approach. Who should we send our ideas to? Oh, I just go to the NEMSIS website and there where you're able to post comments just to the far right of the website, you'll be able to just submit any questions to us, or you can send them directly to me, Ann. I would love to receive them. Julianne, Eric, Josh, any of those folks would be happy to receive them. All right, we'll put some thought into it. If you can think of other topics you want to make sure we cover, we'll certainly consider those and add them to the agenda. And Julianne, I'll turn the time back over to you. Thank you.
I went ahead and I found a better description for those two bugs that we're fixing. So let me share the screen. And then I'll put the links also in chat so that these are just all on the NEMPUB tracking board. And so I'll put these links in the chat so that you can see them. And Josh, feel free to jump in if you want for any additional description. So this one is a level of care, a warning on level of care provided per protocol. And so there's an assertion here that needs to be repaired. And then the other one is unit disposition. There's a bug in that schematron warning as well. So I'll put those two in the chat. You have access. This is public, so you've got access to both of these tickets in our tracking mechanism for changes to the standard. And then if you have any additional questions on those two bugs, reach out. We're happy to help.
Yeah, and I misspoke on the reason for refusal or release. I actually was thinking about that first one there, the level of care provided per protocol. That's the one we're fixing.
That's the one.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for sharing that. And next up today, I'd like to introduce Chris Hoffman, who's going to share an infographic on compliance testing that he created that we thought would be helpful for everyone to see. Chris, do you want to share your screen?
Yes, my apologies. You always got to look for the share button here, right? Which is this one. Okay, my apologies. Are you seeing the homepage for NEMSIS here?
Not yet. Still seeing you.
Let's see. How about now?
Yeah, I think it's coming in. Yep, there we are.
Perfect. Yeah. Sorry about that. So yes, we are. Let's see. We are under. Wanted to show kind of how to get to it here, but now I am looking for it. I believe it's under NEMSIS 101, and let's see here. I just got back from vacation, so I am having trouble remembering exactly where this was, and I was looking at the front page. Will you help guide me and everyone else through to where this is on the website again?
I'm not sure if I know where it's posted. Jen, do you know where we posted this? I'm trying to remember.
Hang on while I work to unmute and start my video. I apologize. I believe that we put it on, and I'm just double checking before I spoke. Yes. So if you go to the technical resources compliance page, under general information, there's the types of compliance infographic. Yep. Under compliance, click on that top one.
Top left.
Yep,
there
right there. And then it's the last one under general information.
There we go.
And it is beautifully done, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you very much. Team effort here. I feel like everyone got a good chance to put into this. So everyone is welcome to download this, print this out. We thought it would be a fun and informative flyer to have up so that everyone could remember the differences between the state level and field level compliance. We get questions on this every once in a while because it's not always on top of mind. But this should give you at least a little bit of guidance. Of course, if there's ever any questions or whatnot, any of us in the TAC are more than happy to take a moment and explain through this. Generally, I'll ask Jen or Lauri when this comes up and I have a question on it. But on the left side, you have your state level receive and process, and on the right side, you have your field level collect and send. And on the bullet points, they should match up a little bit so that when you are asking the questions between the two, that you have a chance to say this one state level is this and field level is that. So this should help out. Hopefully, like I said, everyone, please feel free to download, print this out, share with your friends, print it out. It'll be a collector's item at some point. You can trade it like a baseball card or something. NFTs, that's what we'll do with this. We'll mint it as an NFT at some point. But any questions about this or any other ideas? If you ever come up with an idea of like a fun infographic that would be helpful for you, something that you only deal with every once in a while so that it would be something that's on the tip of your tongue, would be great to have an infographic on this. Please feel free to use the same ways of communicating with us that Clay was talking about on the website to get it over to us, and we'll certainly take it to the team and see if we can't get it onto the pipeline.
What are those on the left side, the state level, the bottom two images? I'm not quite sure what those mean.
The bottom two images. So we had the one, Jen, help me out with this. One of them was for files. You helped me out with this actually quite a bit to pick out the icons.
So we're just talking about the pictures in the circle, right, David? That's what you're asking about? Okay. So that's just, sending documents to a folder, sending documents into a file, getting them in. And this is just showing that it state level is where things get shared, right? You're sending it to it. There's no special underlying meaning for those infographics, for those two pictures.
Okay. I see.
Supposed to give you the essence, the feeling of the state level process, not necessarily a flow chart.
And the infographic, David, you weren't really the target audience because you understand this extremely well. But this was more for those that are just being introduced to it, just trying to understand, well, why do you keep saying that I'm collect and send versus receive and process, and just understanding that they really do function very differently.
Okay, so I'm a little slightly confused about that. So who wants to know the compliance process, but doesn't understand the how it's used?
That's a great question. So your EMS provider agencies that are out there in the field, a lot of times they know that they signed up with a vendor, right? And they know they create their EPCRs, and that's pretty much where, and they'll send in questions like, well, I looked on it and our vendors a collect and send certified compliance, but they're not receive and process. Shouldn't they be both, or anything like that? So this is just to kind of help explain on a really basic level.
Okay. So, I mean, the graphics being so large, but so those kind of people usually do well with more concrete descriptions rather than image that doesn't really mean anything. The ones we work with, they would be confused by this, just as, my comment on it.
Are these questions a result of 3.5 coming into, because nothing's changed over the years. Is this just as a result of 3.5?
I'm not sure.
Part of this is also our work with all the new state data managers. As we have, there's always a lot of turnover. This was something that was developed to help people understand the differences between those two types of compliance process. And it's been helpful to explain to state data managers who are brand new to understand the differences in the compliance process and why the vendors that they work with aren't all the same type of vendor when it comes to compliance process.
And I did actually already send this out to a new vendor that was working on their development that had questions about the differences between the two. And so I sent this to them. I said, here's a quick snapshot of it. So it was perfect timing.
Great, sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for that feedback. And thank you, Chris, for creating that great infographic. And I'm going to pass it off to Jen next, who is going to speak on the impact of version 3.5 implementation on billing.
Thanks, Lauri.
Back to you, Jen.
Thank you. So most of you know that we have started a billing stakeholders group this year to start bringing in the billers, the people who are receiving the NEMSIS data and utilize the NEMSIS data. And part of that discussion is the impact that NEMSIS has on their system. And vice versa for EMS provider agencies that are using the billing, like how does the NEMSIS transition affect them, has come up. So one of the things that we wanted to bring up on this call, just to kind of put it into your minds and starting to think of it, is that there are downstream effects to the transition to V3.5 that may not have been on the radar as much. It's important to include the EMS provider agencies and their billing agencies, so there's no interruption in their processes. And I also wanted to make another request that if you are a billing agency or you are interested in how that works, to please feel free to email me. I am happy to have you join our stakeholder discussions. There are some really robust conversations. If you can send examples of issues that have come up in regards to the billing, maybe those could be included on the tips and tricks that we're going to begin working on in April. A good example of that would be like communicating with your EMS provider agencies that bill for transport. Like, these are the questions that we've gotten. These are some of the items that need to come up, things like that. Just basically kind of starting to look at the impact that the transition to version 3.5 is having on the billers and the EMS provider agencies that do bill. So this was more of a putting it out there. Was there any questions or specific items that anyone has that they'd like to chat about on the V3 call with everyone? Sorry about that. Fantastic. And I really do hope that any of you who are not already on the billing stakeholders group, that you do join us. There have been some excellent discussions. We're really trying to look at the way that NEMSIS works with the billers, works well for the billers, maybe doesn't work well for the billing processes, and just trying to bring all of the folks who are using NEMSIS together and make it work well for everyone.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jen. And next, we are going to connect again with Josh, who's coming to us live from the IHE conference to give us an update today. Josh, are you ready to share? We can't hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear us. Can you hear us, Josh?
Hey, this is Josh.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, kind of. One of my earbuds turned off.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see.
We can hear you.
Great. Okay, and I can hear you barely. Just a second. All right, sorry about that. And can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Sorry about that. I'm at the IHE Connect-a-thon right now, as Clay mentioned. He's here as well. And this is where we're trying to make some efforts go forward to improve interoperability between EMS and the rest of healthcare, getting patient histories to EMS when they're going on calls, getting EMS patient care reports off to hospitals as they deliver patients, and getting hospital outcomes back to EMS. I wanted to just quickly show you the testing floor, just so you can kind of see what things look like there. Just a second. Okay, so this is where there's a bunch of programmers, developers in the room at the tables, all working with each other to work on these interoperability efforts. You can see, it's a whole room full of people. So obviously it's not just EMS software developers in there. In fact, it's lots of other people, device manufacturers, hospital EMR systems, and so on. They get to sit across the table from each other or down the row from each other and actually work on connecting with each other. And they can just work out issues, right there face to face. For the first time, we do have EMS software developers in the room today. ImageTrend is the company that has sent a couple of software developers to to be there at the table working on developing some code and interoperating. So I've got Kashif Khan from ImageTrend with me, and I thought I would give him just a second. I'm going to pass the mic to him and tell you what the ImageTrend developers are working on this week.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kashif Khan, and I'm the Director of Product Management at ImageTrend. And we here at ImageTrend are very strong believers of the thought that increased collaboration, increased communication, and not just hospitals, but the healthcare network, based on meaningful data that is being exchanged, will undoubtedly improve patient care, patient outcomes, and most importantly, save patient lives, because it's being done based on data-driven decisions that are taking place, and will increase operational efficiencies, not only on the pre-hospital side, but also on the other side of the network. And it is an incredible honor for ImageTrend to be a part of the IHE North American Connectathon here. And we have our developers inside, Vince, Justin, our lead developers on the HIH team, and our product manager for HIH, Health Information Hub, which is our interoperability solution, is attending some wonderful sessions that are currently taking place here. We're very excited to be here along with NEMSIS and the IHE folks in all of this excitement. As you just saw the floor there, it's a lot of energy with everybody coming in with the vision on how we can try to connect with each other, sit down and having those discussions, and that excitement is great to see. And we've got a couple of profiles that we've registered here, IHE profiles, specifically for the purposes of testing, XDS.B, XDS-SD, and we've heard of CORE quite often on some of these calls here, on the NEMSIS calls, for getting outcome data back, which we're also very excited to see if you can have an opportunity here to test that out. This is also going to be a lead up to the HIMSS interoperability showcase that is happening in Chicago, that will be very exciting, where we will be participating in the emergency stroke treatment and response showcase along with Epic and Baxter. So that is very exciting for us, and overall bringing EMS to the forefront in both of these events is incredibly exciting. So it's great to see Clayman here, Josh Legler, and everybody from the NEMSIS side who's participating in these conversations and this communication, and having a meet, and Andrea, meeting all these people that we've sat in on various calls with, seeing them in person is incredibly exciting. So I'll pass it back to Josh here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Kashif, for filling us in. So the EMS interoperability task force calls. The next call is tomorrow. It'll actually be, several of us will be here in Austin connecting to the call, but it'll be over Zoom. It'll be the same connection that's used for this call right now. And the task force call topic tomorrow is going to be the governmental, regulatory, and contractual environment for exchanging data between EMS and other areas of healthcare. So we're going to have people from the Office of the National Coordinator for Health IT explaining the government perspective at the federal level. And we'll have people who can explain things like the eHealth exchange, data use, and reciprocal services, or reciprocal support agreement, and the Commonwealth agreement, the care quality agreement. And then coming up, the trusted exchange framework and common agreement is a new effort, and we'll have people who can explain that agreement. These agreements should simplify the step of actually getting connected to agree to share data. Instead of having to make an agreement with each hospital that an EMS agency works with, the EMS agency or its vendor could sign on to, for example, the eHealth exchange common agreement, and they sign one agreement, and they're now connected to all the other partners who have signed that one agreement. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow on the task force call. So thanks for bearing with me on some of the video and audio. Any questions for me? Okay, thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you, Josh. And next on our agenda, we're going to switch topics and have a save the date for annual meeting. Monet is going to share that with us. And then she also is going to talk about a monthly report update.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Lauri, for the introduction. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, fantastic. You should see my screen now, correct? Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Looks good.
So basically, the NEMSIS TAC team and our stakeholders, our funders, Mr. Chaney, and others at NHTSA, we would love to invite you to save the dates of Tuesday, August the 22nd through Thursday, the 24th, for the NEMSIS annual meeting, which will be hosted in Park City, Utah. And we have a lovely flyer that we will be posting to the website with the other additional information, such as the agenda and the links for the registrations. Those are still in the process, and once we have those completed, we will have them on the website. I also wanted to mention that we are looking at the objectives of this meeting and wanted to share that with you. And please continue to send us your ideas about the topics that you would love to have discussed at the meeting. I would like to mention that for many of you who have attended the meetings in the past, you know that the NEMSIS annual meeting is not a traditional conference, but it's designed as a hands-on working meeting where we would love to encourage everyone, all of our stakeholders, to attend so that we can have those robust discussions that help us improve the NEMSIS data standard. I also wanted to just provide the high-level overview of the meeting because some folks would like to know those dates, when we will have the hotel venue, what dates we have reserved, or their travels be Monday through Friday. So we want you to know that we have secured accommodations for you for that entire week. And then this is just another overview of the venue. If you want to look at that link, you can take a look at the venue and the amenities in the surrounding area. And now I just want to talk, I am actually going to slow myself down and ask if you have any questions. Okay, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out, send those questions to us. And I would just love to mention that I see David Saylor on the call. We love to have him at the meeting. John Burkhart, I'm hoping that Shallon from Arkansas can join us. Beth, Ella, there are so many of you that we love to see in person. The phone calls and the Zoom webinars, it's just a touch of our experience with you or our interaction, but that one-on-one face-to-face interaction is very valuable for us, and we hope it's valuable for you as well. And we want to see Karen Jacobson as well. So think about coming out. Save the date for us, okay?
Thank you, Monet.
Yes. And so now I would like to talk a little bit about the monthly activity report. This report is just a highlight of the activities and the collaboration, the initiatives that the TAC is working on. It's not all inclusive, but our goal is to be, we want to be transparent with what we're doing here at the TAC, and also to show you how we're utilizing the data. And so this report goes out each month. This report is also available for those of you who are members of the NEMSIS DMC. You will have an opportunity to see these reports. If you've missed some in the past, you can go back and see 1, 2, or more years of these reports available on the NEMSIS Basecamp platform. This report is not available on the NEMSIS website, but if you need a copy of this report, please just email us and we'll be happy to send this report out to you again. Are there any questions about the monthly report or the annual meeting? Okay, thank you so much. Back to you, Lauri. Or Julianne, I'm not sure who's taking over.
I know Lauri was having some internet challenges, so let me pull up our next agenda item. And I think we've worked through the whole agenda until down to items from the Office of EMS. So just trying to reorient myself on the agenda. Eric, is there anything that you would like to share with this group while you've got us all together?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, I reiterate as many of you can get out to the annual conference as possible. It's just great getting all of the direct feedback, good and bad, whatever you have related to anything and all things NEMSIS. So that one's pretty important to me. The second one I wanted to mention is that, and this goes back to the annual meeting, we had Ryan Stark from Page Wolfberg and Worth present, and we heard loud and clear that you wanted some more time with Ryan. So we're certainly inviting them back this year. That's one of the big ticket items. But they presented on a reference document they were working on about data ownership and a whole list of questions that were initiated out of this group. We're getting very close to having that completed. It is taking a lot of their time to have it reviewed by all the principal partners, as Ryan mentioned at the last meeting. And they want to make sure that everybody's in adamant agreement on the information that they're going to share with you. So stand by. You should see that here in the very near future. We've made some just final edits to it, and we're looking at getting that out to you just as soon as possible. The other thing I want to mention, and this goes to highway safety grants and funding. So pay attention. We're talking about funding. If I didn't have your attention yet, we're going to talk about money. Many of you are probably in the process, vendors and state data managers, in helping to put together information for highway safety grants for infrastructure money that has been made available through the state highway offices, highway safety offices. There are a few very hardcore deadlines coming up that are very important. Some of you may be involved in writing the triennial highway safety plans. And these are very much new. So basically, it's an opportunity for you to shape what goes in the highway safety plan for EMS. It's countermeasure strategies to reduce death and disability as a result of motor vehicle crashes. There is a justification and effectiveness section, which clearly relies on NEMSIS data to support that work. Then August the 1st, let me back up. On the triennial highway safety plan, the reason it's so important for you to get involved right now, and I know there's 8 million things going on, all of you are super busy, but this triennial plan that would be written today, completed this calendar year, 2023, would be effective 2024 through 2026. So if you don't get it in now, your next shot is 2026. So if you are working on something, you would like some help with something, we are more than happy to do that. If you would like to collaborate on scoping out what the section should look like on EMS, we're happy to support you and help you in any way we possibly can. So that's the triennial highway safety plan. So let's talk a little bit about the actual grants, like 402s and 405s and 405Hs, the roadside deaths, which is new. All of that is going to be due on August the 1st. So that's not that far off in terms of writing and putting things together. Things like 405 presenting roadside deaths, if you go back to the National Roadway Safety Strategy, the traffic incident management section was big. It was a big part of post-crash care, which is where EMS falls. So these are all things that are very important to your state EMS offices, to some of your local agencies, and getting funding to them. You're going to be asked to support those. Please don't struggle with trying to work together, rewrite each other's work together. A couple states get together and share information. Again, I'm happy to help with that. I'm happy to coordinate some of that, but it takes your input because you're working at sort of that local level and state level. It really, I've said this many times, and I know I said it last year at our annual meeting. It really bothers me to watch states struggle to each do the same thing. You're all writing to the same plans, same guidelines. Motor vehicles probably crash the same way in your state as they do in another state. You may have more interstate, you may have more intercity, more rural areas, but the bottom line is, folks, we're dealing with the same types of injuries after cars crash. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Talk to your vendors. They probably have some ideas how to support this. And if you have questions, please reach out. That's all I have for today, unless someone has questions for me.
Sounds good. Thank you, Eric. And I'm going to just announce our next training coming up is April 4th. And the topic is going to be a basic introduction to NEMSIS elements, datasets, schematron validation. And this is going to be led by Jen Correa. So mark your calendars, and there will be a flyer and save the date coming out probably the week before that event. So look for that. And next up on our agenda is time for open forum. So does anyone have a topic they'd like to bring up or question you'd like to ask at this point? All right, feel free to reach out to anyone on this call. If you think of a question later, we're happy to connect and answer those for you. Our next meeting will be March 22nd. So I want to say thank you all for joining us today. And then again, we have here the dates for the conference, August 22nd to 24th, if you can mark your calendars. And we hope that you can join us in person in Park City. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.